Event logo, check.
Well, day one of race week here in Newport, presented by Rolex, is in the books. We had a beautiful day out on the water, a lot of nice sailing and beautiful wind, and the seas, even inland, as we sailed up in the bay, were a bit chaotic and mixed, and it was interesting sailing. And we're going to be joined tonight to talk about the ORC2 class. We're joined by Bruce Chaffee and Morgan Simmons. How you doing, guys?
Doing well.
And that was a fun day of racing out there. Kind of nice to be back on the water. Just want to, I know for myself, to be out there after such a long sort of time off with COVID. It was nice to be out there. What was it like for you, Morgan, to be with your crew out on the water?
Well, it was great to get back into the racing and the swing of things up here in Newport. Been doing most of the summer sailing in Long Island Sound in Connecticut. So definitely great to be back in the prevailing breezes of Newport, back with the team on Das Blaue Max.
And Bruce, you had Ricky going pretty good there. Was everybody sort of, you guys have been sailing together for a while, or did you kind of pull a crew together for the regatta? Bruce, are you hearing us as you drive down the road?
Maybe on mute.
He is muted. Can we unmute him? You might have to pull over to unmute yourself. Anyways, we're going to let's show a start. And Morgan, you can tell us. I think this is the last race of the day. You'll know it when you see it. Yeah, let's go to a start. Can we hear you, Morgan?
Yes. So do we think this is the third race here? It seems like
this is, yeah.
So off the line, the Far 40 has a lot of space at the pin. Seems a little boat favored right now, but it was definitely a little light coming off the line, just trying to have everyone find their lane. There's the Far 40 tacked out right.
You know, it's such nice sailing up there with the flat water. What was the favorite side? Did it change throughout the day?
It seemed to definitely be going back and forth. It depended what you wanted to split between playing the puffs versus the shifts. For us on Das Blaue Max, it seemed as though we definitely were trying to play the pressure game and connect the puffs going upwind rather than worrying about the large oscillations. So at the end of the day, especially in the third race, I think that we were able to succeed in doing that.
Yeah, that's a big one. Bruce, we're still waiting you to unmute yourself. If you can reach down and just hit the mute button, you'll be able to hear you. We did hear Bruce during the race out there because the media boat almost ran into him. So we did. I know we can hear him. Bruce, you're still on mute, my friend. Yeah, you're on mute. You're on mute. So, Morgan, what was super interesting to me was the downwind, going downwind, the downwind legs, and there was some passing lanes today.
Yeah, there definitely were. It was an interesting division between the ORC2 class, between asymmetrical spinnakers and symmetrical spinnakers. And for us, the sweet spot definitely was with the symmetrical kite. So I think that allowing us to go kind of as quick direct to the finish line as we could was definitely proving beneficial. But also the faster boats were doing very well with their asymmetrical kites. So I think it definitely was playing out to be very even. And you could also play the shifts going downwind. So I think that it, at the end of the day, as you can see from the kind of mixed results, it's really anybody's game right now.
I think that was interesting to see the two different, styles of spinnakers out there. I love seeing that. And with the symmetrical kite, did it feel like, you didn't have to play the angles quite so much? And I wonder, do you prefer that yourself, or do you bounce between different types of boats?
So most of my experiences with asymmetrical spinnakers, I predominantly sail on a J109 in Connecticut. So I think that that's definitely where my comfort level lies. But getting used to the actual switch between the asymmetrical and the spinnaker, or the asymmetrical and the symmetrical kites, was very doable. So I think it was good.
Yeah, it's different though, isn't it? It's a kind of a different game.
Yeah, certainly.
We're going to watch some mark roundings now. And I think this is the third race.
Yeah, so I'm trying to see who that is. Clearly a full kite right off the offset. And this would be the far 40, it looks like.
Yep.
So depending on the wind angle coming into the offset mark, some boats were trying to cheat the hoist a little bit early and get that extra kick of power going around the offset mark. Pretty much all bearaway sets for the most part today. There we are, with the jib coming down. And I believe that's the 109 coming around right there, trying to get the last of their spinnaker halyard up, and they did very well today. I think they sailed really well. That overlapping jib, which works really well in the ORC setting, especially in kind of that mid-level breeze, is actually quite fast, especially going upwind. Gets that added power, especially in the flat waters that we had today so far inland.
This is very interesting to have the event in the fall, right? To be sailing here in September, and I like that. It's always great to extend the summer. And was wondering about what's next for you after this regatta.
So after this regatta is the annual regatta. We'll be back for that. So definitely looking forward to that. But it was definitely exciting racing in the heavier breezes as Hurricane Teddy passed offshore. It definitely prepared us for this week, which looks to be just as good, with sun all the way and no rain, and hopefully some consistent 12 to 15 knot days. So perfect Newport weather.
I love that. 12 to 15 knots, always good sailing. Let's look at the results from the ORC2 course today. And Morgan, I mean, it's pretty close racing, right? I mean, right now, of course, the top three, they're separated by a few points up there, but really anything can change, right?
Yeah, exactly. As you can see, I mean, the first of 4 days of racing, the J109 had an excellent day, as I just mentioned. And then really the bulk of 2 right through 8 is just right there in it. And it's mixed results. And I think that definitely reflects the shifting conditions of the day between the 2 races further inland up by Hope Island, and then the last race of the day being further in, closer to the bridge. I think that leaves the door wide open for the moving days of days 2 and 3, and looking forward to seeing what comes out of the fleet in the next days.
When you're starting a race with so many different types of boats, what's the strategy? Clear air, obviously, but the line was good size. Just kind of get bow out and see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. I think given the length of the line today, we were really trying to err on the side of which would be more favored and which would allow for a clear tacking lane. So we were trying to think halfway up the first leg, if a larger boat were to come in and to affect our clear air. So that's kind of our methodology, was to look upwind and see what the next oscillation might be.
Yeah, I love that. And I like what you said earlier about sailing, connecting the puffs rather than worrying too much about the oscillations. That's really just stay in the power, right?
Yeah, and of course, and the current that far up in the bay isn't as much of a play as it would be if you were racing out in the ocean or anything like that. So that wasn't as much of a concern. So we were definitely more focused on the pressure.
And was that consistent throughout the day, that the currents weren't that big a deal throughout the day up there?
Not too much. I mean, we started the day around high tide, and it was going out most of the day, so wasn't as strong as it would have been further down off of Fort Adams, but we were definitely focused on the velocity side of things.
That's great. And game plan for tomorrow? You want to tell us the inside secrets?
I don't think we've discussed that yet, but definitely game plan is to just get back out there, keep going fast, see what's working for us, and hopefully do some moving.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us, Morgan. We'll see you out on the water tomorrow, and check back here for all your results all week long. It's Race Week at Newport, presented by Rolex. Thanks again, Morgan. We'll see you on the water.
Thanks, Dan. See you then.
All right.